Hello and welcome to Glorious Marriage. We're your co-hosts, Johnny and Lori Thomason, and we'll be with you for these next several minutes going over some things to help you and your spouse to have a glorious marriage.
Hey, we are going to do that. Yes, let's jump right in here. Communication is key to a glorious marriage, and we've been talking about this for several weeks now, but we're going to keep hammering it and hammering it and hammering it because that's what the devil is messing up, and he's not messing it up. The lack of good communication is giving the devil free reign in your relationship, in your marriage relationship, and we're attacking that head on.
Yeah.
We're giving you things to do and ways to do it in order to overcome the devil and to communicate good. That way your marriage will be glorious.
That's right.
Glorious.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes just realizing that there is an issue and that there are tools available.
Yeah.
That's part of the battle right there, is just knowing that, hey, just being able to identify, are we communicating properly in each of these areas of our lives?
Yeah.
And then if we are, great.
If you
keep
are,
it
keep
up.
doing it.
Keep
Absolutely.
it up. But if
Yes,
we're
yes.
not,
Right.
it's been exposed. And once something is exposed, then we know that we can start working on it.
Yes.
So that's where we're at.
Yeah. Communication is the king of having a glorious marriage. It's a key. It is a key.
Yeah.
We have to be intentional, and we have to invest these things that we're teaching you.
That's right. Well, and that's a good point too, because just knowing about something, if we don't apply it, it's a useless tool. It's like having a whole toolbox full of stuff and having something that needs fixed, but you don't go to the toolbox and find a tool to fix it. So it's useless.
It's like at church, Pastor's been teaching a series on the fundamentals, mastering the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of you know the fundamentals of good communication, you're just not applying them.
Yeah.
And I know
we have work to do.
I know the fundamentals of communication, so I have to discipline myself to do it, and Lori has to do the same thing. She knows the fundamentals of good communication, so therefore we just have to do this. A lot of times, Lori, in life, we have to learn, unlearn, and relearn something.
Yeah.
So if you fit that, then that's what we have to do. We have to learn something, you have to unlearn something, and then you have to relearn something a lot of times.
Well, sometimes we've been taught something a certain way, and then come to find out, not that the way was wrong, but maybe there's a better way. Work smarter, not harder.
Smarter, not harder.
So
Amen.
that's kind of what we're talking about today. Maybe you've taken some communication classes before, and not that they were wrong, but maybe there's something else that we can add to that.
Absolutely.
And we're going to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. And a lot of times when we're teaching these things and you apply this stuff, then you'll know when you hear good communication.
Yes.
You will know when you have heard good communication.
Yeah.
So, what we have to do is we have to take the tools that we've been sharing and just apply them. And this is the deal. We don't want to just be good. We just don't want to be good in our communication. We want to be effective.
We don't want to be just good talkers. We want to be good communicators.
It's got to be effective.
Yeah.
We've got to be effective.
Well, that's true too, because just like being a good sign of a good leader is somebody that's following them. If you're a leader and supposedly leading somebody, and you look and nobody's following you, you're not really a good leader. You're just out for a walk. But so this is kind of the same thing, the same concept. If we're communicating but people aren't understanding what we're saying, we're just talking. We're not really communicating. We're just talking.
Right.
So we want to be sure that we're being understood. A lot of things play into that, Johnny. We've talked about, just the definition of communication, and this was kind of something that just kind of got brought back to my, my memory today. Was it's that it's something that's imparted, interchanged, or transmitted, and that can be through body language plays a
Well,
lot.
and I was going to say something about your body language. You know, you're communicating whenever you see
You may
each
not
other.
even be using words.
And that's it.
So,
A lot of times I could see Lori and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be sweet to her and I'm going to love her and I'm going to do that anyway. But there's sometimes where I'm not going to avoid you, but I'm going to be cautious because she's communicating. I can tell by the look on her face. I can tell by her body language.
Some vibes.
Right. And so on the receiving or the other end of that, we all need to be watching how we're communicating and effectively. Now, there's sometimes, you may have a pain, an ailment where you've got a wince on your face.
Right.
Or you may have something on your face and your spouse may look at you and think, oh man, they're in a bad mood. They're doing something.
Or they're in a battle.
Yeah, they're in a battle or something. So you have to remember you're always communicating, whether it's verbal or non-verbal. When your spouse sees you, you are communicating something. What is that something?
Right. So that's where we can't, as the other person, we can't assume, oh, I bet they're mad. Oh, I bet I'm probably in trouble for something else now. Oh, and your mind will start playing these little, guessing games on you or something. So why not just cut to the chase and say, hey, babe, what's going on?
Right.
You've kind of got to look. Are you feeling okay? Did I do something wrong? And give your spouse an opportunity to, oh, I've got a lot on my mind. Oh, yeah, I'm not feeling well. Or, well, yeah, that did upset me when you did such and such. At least give them the opportunity to either confirm or deny that it has to do with you, specifically. And then that gives you now we can start using these communication skills. Now we can start talking, okay, can I pray for you? Which you should anyway, but to pray a rifle prayer. Now I know how to specifically pray for you. You've got an ailment. You've got something on your mind. You're dealing with something at work, whatever. I can specifically help you or pray for you, and I'm not just assuming that, oh, that look on your face is because you're mad at me or whatever, So
yeah. Now, if you've been keeping up with the program, you know that we've given you specific tasks. For you, the talker, you, the listener, and then there's a category of both.
Right.
So if you've missed any of these, you need to go to kingdomkeys.org, go to the podcast page, and look at I don't know, this may be the second or third one on communication.
The third one.
Okay,
yeah.
so we went over this
the
in
third.
number 2, I think, right? Maybe we hit some on number 1, but if you just need, go back to kingdomkeys.org, go to the podcast page under Glorious Marriage, and you'll find it. Okay, now we've given you specific for the listener, for the one that's talking, and then both. Also, keep in mind, what is your objective as the one communicating?
Yeah.
Be specific. Rifle it. It's like when Lori and I teach on prayer a lot of times, we're going to say, you rifle in on your prayer.
Yeah.
Don't throw a shotgun prayer out there.
Yeah, that
and it's like,
scatters all over.
So when we're having a communication, when we're having a discussion, when I'm trying to communicate something to you, because I want to be nothing more than heard, then I have to be very specific and rifling my objective on what I want you to hear. I have to be specific and to the point without all the fluff, without adding a bunch of stuff, because she can't read my mind. I can't assume she's going to read my mind. So it's up to you to even have a thought before we start. This is what I want my spouse to know.
Yeah.
Be very specific, be very rifling. Rifling means just a point. It doesn't mean scattered all over the place.
It goes straight to the mark.
I want to get right straight to the mark, and I want to communicate that.
Yeah.
And I want to be effective in it.
Yes.
And remember, do not have the fear of conflict.
Right.
God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of love,
power,
love,
and a
sound mind. So
right.
Saying all of that, we're going to take conflict and it's going to be a positive thing.
Yeah.
Instead of a negative thing. And look, don't use conflict to get well on each other, to complain against one another, to point out each other's negativities, to raise your voice, squelch all that. Conflict is simply, it's going to be more a spirited discussion. Because keep in mind this, a conflict is something merely as this. Something I'm saying or something I'm doing, Lori does not agree with.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just a conflict. It's just a conflict.
Yeah.
So we're not going to look at it as a
We
negative
have conflicting conflicting views on something.
Now, at the end of this conversation, at the end of this conflict, okay, we're going to call it a conflict. At the end of this communication, I have explained to her, I have communicated to her, then she can communicate it back to me. This is what this is what I understand you to say. This is, okay.
This is what I hear you say.
Now, at the end of all of it, there's sometimes we're going to agree and sometimes we're going to disagree. We're just going to have to let that go. and if it's just a matter of opinion, okay. But you cannot disagree when it comes to Bible.
That's right. If it's illegal, immoral, unbiblical, those are kind of the big three.
Yeah.
You know, that okay, now this is where there's no wiggle room on.
Exactly.
You know, on these three areas. Unbiblical,
Yeah.
immoral, illegal. Those
Exactly.
are things
things you can't.
Yeah.
But anything else outside of that.
That's right.
Because Lori and I are so different.
There's compromise in
Yeah.
anything outside of those three.
So you have to give. You have to give your spouse grace. You have to give them. It's okay for them to like blue and I like red.
Yeah.
It's okay for them to like spicy food. I don't like spicy food. It's okay to go to that restaurant where I don't like that restaurant. It's okay to, you know what I'm saying? A lot of this is a matter of opinion or a matter of taste.
Yeah.
Lori's not like me. That's what attracted us to one another. We are opposite.
Yeah.
But we have to figure out how to love each other and how to navigate through life together being opposite.
Yeah.
Opposites do attract.
Right.
If she liked everything I do all the time, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Where would the challenge of pursuit
No.
be? Yeah.
Yeah. You've got different hobbies, you've got different likes, you have different interests. The key to it all is to give one another that grace, to give one another that, okay, you don't like to go hunting, I like to go hunting.
Yeah.
But you like to take walks, I don't like to take walks. Or I'm just using some examples. I'm just throwing this out there. Guys, you've got to give your spouse room to do, to be. And you know, we do this in pre-marriage counseling. We say, okay, wives, give your man time to go to the mountain. It's an illustration. Jesus went to the mountain. He went to pray. He went to rest. He went to be by himself. Sometimes it could be you go play golf. It could be, it could be a number of things.
Yeah.
It could be a ton of different things that you get to do.
Yeah. But you communicate. If you're going to the mountain, you say, or whatever your that's our buzzword. That's our that's what we came up with. Yours can be whatever. But if you called and told me, babe, I'm going to the mountain, that meant don't call, don't text, don't blow my phone up, don't I'm not going to worry because we're commanded not to worry, and you've communicated. So you didn't just go MIA. And I can't find you.
Right.
And you're getting frustrated because I'm blowing up your phone. The girls are blowing up your phone. You know, it's
girls
like
talking about our daughters.
Our daughters, yes.
Our grandkids.
Our daughters, yeah. Yeah, our other grandkids now. But I knew, okay, he's clearing his mind. He's with the Lord. And you communicated that.
It's been well established. And so that time means, Johnny, you can go do what you want to. I don't have to be a part of that.
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. Give your spouse that time. Give them that luxury. Give them that. But on the same token, don't abuse it.
Yeah. Or don't just take it and go MIA.
Don't you take it and not let your spouse have the same time if that's what they want. I mean, all these things are good. And how do you figure these things out? Good communication.
Yes.
Good communication.
Yeah.
And you and I have been hitting this for 3 weeks in a row, and we may go 4. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're going to continue.
Well, it's very important because good communication is the foundation to a good, strong, glorious marriage. That much is true. So we do. It's so important in how we talk and how we communicate with one another.